down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not run dry. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not. The words are on the sheet in your book. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not run dry. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not run dry. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not run dry. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not run dry. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. For this well will not run dry. I will go down to the well. Let the water ring me like a bell. Let the water rock me like a child. For this well will not run dry. 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 Oh, good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, we're getting warmed up with some songs that aren't even part of Kabbalat Shabbat officially, but we felt like unofficially these were some of the songs in a major key with themes we wanted to start with, like coming into the space and filling our well and being recharged with love and with community and with harmony and with the reminder that we don't have to do everything and we cannot, in fact, do everything. And we relinquish some of that feeling of wanting so desperately to control things and try and ride God's song a little bit here. Gale, gale, gale. My voice is feeling awfully low. I feel like I should move it up for the sake of people with slightly higher voices. So, welcome everybody. Is there anybody who's in the house for the first time tonight? Anybody? You can put your hand in the air. Yeah. There's like this serene energy going on, but you can get applause. Yeah. Yes. Theo, is it your first time on Friday night? Welcome. Yeah. Well, we're so glad you came. No time like the present to start showing up for spiritual nourishment. You know,
Big words.
I've said before, you know, there are some times when practicing your spiritual tradition, you know, it's fun and it's nice, and then there are some times when it feels like it's nourishment along the lines of water and food. And I don't know, that's how I'm feeling these days. These moments of harmony and connection and community kind of feel like they're necessary along the lines of food and water and air for us. There's this Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav story. He's a Hasidic master from the 18th century. And he has many stories, and they're all allegories for the challenges of being a spiritual person, a sensitive person, a God-obsessed person in a world full of lies and illusions and ignorance. And so in one such story, the king's advisor lets him know that this year's crop of grain is tainted, and everyone who eats of it will go insane. And so the advisor says to the king, or rather the king says to the advisor, so what do you think we should do? Because if we eat from the tainted grain, then we too will go crazy. But if we don't eat from the tainted grain, then we will be the crazy ones. And so the advisor says to him, we should eat the tainted grain, but we should put a mark on our foreheads so that you know and that I know that we're crazy. I used to really like this story, and now I don't like it anymore. Yeah, I don't like it anymore. And now, it's like what I want is for the advisor and the king to stay the course and remain crazy, even though everyone around them is insane, because they stay the course of sanity, having their feet on the ground, remembering who they are, what their values are, even as the world begins to turn topsy-turvy, even as it begins to feel like everything that you thought you could rely on or trust about the place where you live might not be trustworthy, and to just stay the course. And so, as you are here tonight, I want to remind all of us in this space, nobody's crazy. If you care about people, if you want to take care of our planet, if you want people to have autonomy over their own bodies. I'm grateful we have Kalman Resnick here tonight to share some words of sharing, like putting the mark on our head to help us understand what's going on in this world right now, specifically regarding immigration, sort of the immigration and mass deportation questions and issues facing our country. That'll be later on in the night. The first thing we need to do is just breathe. Just arrive and breathe. So whatever kind of week it's been like for you, and I imagine it's been some kind of a week, I invite you to put your feet on the floor and sit up a little bit straighter. We need each other. You could have stayed home and doom scrolled. But if you're with us in this room, or if you're with us on Zoom or virtually, hello everybody who's at home. You needed to be here with us, and we needed to be with each other. Can't make harmony without the person next to you. So every single person here, you're needed for whatever lesson or whatever truth you bring, whatever life experience you bring, the voice that you bring. So let's just breathe into this moment of the end of the week and exhale the week that has been. Try to feel your shoulders relaxing. Try to feel your chest exhaling, your face and your jaw unclenching as you exhale. Throughout the night, no matter what we're singing, whether you know the tune or the words or don't, this is always a place you can come back to. we're going to turn to page 3.
Shir ישמחו עם רבים ענן וערפל סביבת צדק משפט מכון כיסו.
Spencer, could my guitar be a little lower? It feels very loud to me. Thank you.
Making our way through the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat. There are 7 of them to try to release every day of the week that we've just been through. We're at the top of 5. Urzaru ala tzadik, uli yishrei lev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. Shir Adonai Shir Chadash, Ki niflaot asai. You can read down through them in Hebrew and English. We're on 6. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim v'meisharim. Adonai malach yirgezu amim. Oz melech mishpatahu. Almighty, you love justice, you have established fairness, instituted in Zion, rule on righteousness, exalt God, the one. God's presence. Moshe ve'Aharon ve'Chohanam, u'Shmuel ve'Korei Shemot, Korim el Adonai. There are a bunch of seats over here. Ve'hu Yaneh. Be'amor Anam Yedaber Aleihem Shomru Edotav V'chov Natan Lamo Adonai Eloheinu Ata Anita El Nosei Hayita Lahem V'nokem ala lilotam Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtachavu lehakodshot Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We're going to stand at the top of 7. He's born David. Havul Adonai b'nei. Havul Adonai. Thank you so much. Havul Adonai.
seated. So this Shabbat, God willing, 4 more of the hostages that are being held by Hamas will be released and rejoin their families. And there's a sense of relief that I feel, especially after seeing the images last week of the 3 that were released. But this also happens, I think, against a backdrop of so much pain and so much grief. This is a tenuous ceasefire that we find ourselves in, and it's come at an incredible cost. So many have been killed, and I recognize that this is a unacceptable cost that's been borne disproportionately by our Palestinian neighbors, but by so many with broken hearts. And so the question is, what do we say? What do we say when we receive good news in difficult times? So the traditional blessing that we say when we reach a joyous moment is the Shehechianu. Right? Blessed are you, source of all being, who has brought us to this place, has given us life, has sustained us to reach this moment. We do this when we experience joy, or when we do something for the first time, or for the first time after a long time. It is a blessing of happy cycles, of holidays and weddings and births. But the release of hostages after so much heartbreak against a backdrop of so much pain isn't joyful per se, nor would we really want to repeat the events that led to this moment. And so the rabbis actually offer us a different blessing. They give the example of if someone dies and leaves you an inheritance, right? We say, Baruch Dain HaMet, right? Blessed is the true judge. This is what we say when we receive the news of somebody's death. But this person cared for you. They left you something to make sure that you'd be okay. What do you say when you receive that? And so the rabbis say, we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hatov v'hametiv. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, source of all things, who is good and does good. This is to say, we've suffered, but thank you for bringing us this small reprieve. Or things may not be as they should, but now there's at least one more thing that is as it should be. I know the way forward is going to be hard, but also there's just a little bit of hope. And I think that this blessing is something that we're probably all going to need a lot in the coming weeks and months and years ahead. So I want to teach it to you. I want to teach it to you, but I first want you to think of something amidst all that is difficult and hard and despairing right now. What's like one good thing that you can think of? And this is not to pretend that the bad things don't exist, but to hold alongside that. Maybe just one good thing. So for you to bring that into the space right now. It could simply be the fact that you are here in this room, and it's warm, and you all look so lovely, and your voices are so beautiful. Maybe it's some good news you received. Maybe it's a small blessing. Maybe it's finding that parking spot right outside a Second Unitarian. Or a good meal, good news at work or for your family, whatever it might be. I want you to repeat after me. Baruch.
Baruch.
Atah.
Atam.
Adonai.
Adonai.
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
Melech.
Melech.
Haolam.
Haolam.
Hatov.
Hatov.
V'hametiv.
Vahametiv.
Blessed are you, source of all things, Adonai, our God, who is good and does good, even if it's just a little sliver, a little light in the darkness. And so we sing, we're going to go straight into L'chado D, which is great. We're channeling that good Shabbos energy. We are on page, we're on page 8. When we reach the end of L'chado D, that last stanza, we'll face towards the door, and holding that little bit of goodness, I want you to invite it into the room to wrap all of us in that light.
L'chado D, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela, shamor v'zachor, v'dibor echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad. Somebody who's by that back door might open it so we could let in the Shabbos bride.
Boi v'shalom, yeah.
Ateret bala, gam besimcha, u'esahala, toch emunei, ham segul.
We bow and welcome her in.
We can take a seat to continue on page 10.
Take that energy of gratitude Rabbi Stephen had us all up in before and take it into Psalm 92. Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai l'zamer l'shimcha elyon. Yid b'boker chazdecha ve'emunatcha ba'alelot. Alev yasor aleina ve'aleinu b'kinor. Pick up on 11. Tzadik ata ma'ariva ke'erez bavanon yizgei sheturim b'beit Adonai.
Od yenu uvun תחננו מאוד לביתך נא וקודש אדוני לאורך ימים.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Oh, good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. It's so nice to have all of you here in the space, creating this warmth, and those joining us online. Nice to have you here as well. I'm Rabbi Stephen. This is Rabbi Lizzie.
Hi.
We have Emma and Emily and Erica and Talius and Bex and Sam and Henry, our D team, helping us lead, and all of your beautiful voices joining us. And now we're going to embarrass the new ones. No, we're going to have folks who are here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, we'd love for you to stand and introduce yourself.
It's a hazing ritual. We put everyone through
We literally do this every Friday. And the reason we do this is so that we know that you're new. So afterwards, we can find you and say hello and how glad we're here, that you're here, and that we're here, and that we're here with you. And the reason we have you say where you live is so that people can be like, oh my God, I live in that neighborhood too, or oh my God, I'm also from Tallahassee, or for example, I'm not from Tallahassee. I don't know why that was the first thing. So we have a mic, right? We have a mic. Great, we have a mic. Oh, Lizzie has the mic.
Pass it to. So, all right, whoever.
Yeah, so if you're here for the first
Feeling
time,
great.
please
Yes.
stand up,
Please,
grab
please,
the
please.
mic.
Yes, we cheered for you
Yes,
earlier.
we cheer for you. We're so happy you're here.
Yes, so pass it over to them.
Harry, can I have you?
Did you turn it on?
I think so. I think I turned it on.
All right.
No, it's
Wait,
not
the
on.
switch
Okay.
needs to be flipped up. No?
I can.
No,
Well,
try it again.
we want all the folks at home to be
Yeah,
able
so
to
that
hear you too.
helps people online
yeah,
hear you too.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, there you go.
Hi, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Adir. I'm 28 years old from, and I live in Gold Coast, and I'm originally from Israel.
Welcome, welcome
And what brought you here?
tonight.
What brought you here tonight? Did a friend bring you? Or looking for Shabbos spirit?
My friend brought me tonight. My dear neighbor, Paula.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, my dear.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hello.
My name is Danny. I'm from New York, but I'm in town for the next few months.
All right.
And I came with friends.
Beautiful.
Yay. Welcome, Danny.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Maddie. I live in Ravenswood. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I am here with my girlfriend Alana and my friend Danny.
Oh, go for the Lana.
I'm Alana. I've actually been working at Mishkan for a few months, but this is my first legit
Friday night.
Happy to be here.
Alana, what do you do for Mishkan?
I'm the B Mitzvah Education Associate, so I've been working with all of the 6th and 7th graders, even some 8th graders, helping them out, getting them ready for their B Mitzvah.
Completely killing it.
Doing so awesomely.
Hi, my name is Dolores Ayala. I live in Evanston. What brought me tonight was to talk about the immigrants and to hear my colleague Kalman, who doesn't really know me, but I know you.
Amazing. We're
I
so
know you
glad
from
you're
the.
here.
I'm from Legal Aid Chicago. I work with Lisa.
Amazing.
Lisa Palumbo.
We're so glad you're here.
thanks.
Thank you. And we'll pass the mic. We can say it that way. We're just going to pass it from person to person. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carlos. I'm from Oak Park, and I came today to
See, this is why we have you say where you live.
to listen to Kalman speak today.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
I think we have some folks over
Welcome,
here.
Carlos.
We're gonna just pass. You can just pass the mic down from person to person. Beautiful.
Yes.
It's like the Olympic torch of Mishkan.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Clark. I live in Humboldt Park. I'm originally from New Hampshire. And I'd say I'm here because I'm Jewish curious.
Jewish
Beautiful.
Curious.
You're in the right place.
We love Jewish Curious.
Good Shabbos. My name is Ruth. I live in Uptown, and my friend Rebecca brought me here.
All right.
Ruth from Uptown, behind you.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth. I live in Rogers Park, and my friend Alex brought me tonight.
I love
Yay,
it.
welcome,
Love,
Elizabeth.
love.
I think we have
Welcome.
one more person. We'll pass the mic.
Hi, my name is Emma. I live in Logan Square from Toronto originally. my friend Evie Shaw encouraged me to come here, although she's not here tonight. And also I have family in the band, which I didn't realize, but it's very exciting. And I'm here. We're sort of figuring out where we might land for our daughter, who's almost 9, who needs a Jewish home.
Amazing. Well, Mishkan's a pretty great place. I know a great bar mitzvah tutor.
That's right. Actually, a great person to talk to. And Michael, who just did the little mic pass here. Would you stand up? Would you mind? Michael runs our small groups and is the person who one talks to if one is Mish curious. And so for anyone who's here for the first time tonight and wants to learn a little bit more about the community, come find Michael.
Or he'll find you.
Or he'll find you. Or
That was an invitation, not a threat. So we do this basically every other week, alternating Fridays and Saturdays. So join us for Shabbat services next week, Saturday morning at CJDS. And then the following Friday, we'll be back here, but afterwards we're gonna have our winter comfort feast, which you do have to sign up for in advance. So please, sign up for in advance, and it'd be great to have dinner with you. Some other stuff coming up. We have our queer youth group this Sunday meeting for the first time. We have lots of other support groups as well, so check online for those. You can hang out with me more next Thursday. We are starting a new space called A Heart of Many Rooms, where people can come together to kind of hold a processing space, sharing stories around Israel and Palestine, the current conflict, and how we're holding that. We will have our first gathering of our Jews of Color small group, which is super exciting, on Saturday, February 1st. We also have lots of other small groups.
wait, Rodrigo is hosting.
Yes.
Or could just
Oh, yeah.
wave
Amazing
so
you're here.
people
Hello.
know, like, find Rodrigo if you are
Rodrigo's
curious
hosting.
about it.
Talk to him about it if you would like to know more about that event. We're really excited that this group's gathering. We have tons of other small groups as well. Too many to list here, but I wanted to highlight that one. If you're kind of wondering, especially after you hear our guest Darshan, our guest speaker tonight, about what you can do, we have an event next Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays from now, February 5th. Our 2 justice teams are getting together, hosting an event called Don't Kvetch, Organize. I see Jackie here. Do we have any other of our justice team folks here? Jackie, raise your hand. If you're interested in our justice teams, talk to Jackie. And then finally, we have so many events, but finally for these announcements, on February 6th, we're gonna be joined by Mishkanite and author Joanne Finkelstein to talk about her book, Raising Girls, Sexism and Sensibility, with psychologist and author and Mishkanite Joanne Finkelstein.
And if you're not on our email list but want to be, because Rabbi Stephen just said about 6 things, and I feel like there were 25 things on the...
I would say like 36 things.
Okay, 36. That's
There's
a
a
very
lot.
Jewish number. Anyway, there's a QR code out in the lobby, and you can put yourself on the email list and then read about it all by yourself.
And we only spam you once a week, every Wednesday.
That's great.
And I think we should daven.
Beautiful. We're going to stand and turn to page 13. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And the truth is, now you can sit. We just stand for the Baruch hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv barim. I'm going to keep standing now. Chochma potech sha'arim u'vivonam mishaneitim. Chalif et hazmanim mesader et hakochavim b'mishmertem b'rakir kirtzono. Bore yom v'layla gol elor mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. U'ma'avir yom u'meivi layla. U'mavdil ben yom u'ben layla. Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam. Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Ha'ma'ariv aravim. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael. Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chokim u'mishpatim otanu limadata. Scrolling down 14 after the arrow. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvehem negei yomam v'layla ve'avtecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. We cover and close our eyes for each word of the Shema. 115. Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al mavlecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Turn to page 17, third paragraph down there. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן. At the bottom of 18. מלכותו ורצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל. So this week, a clergy person succeeded for a positive reason in doing what I think every clergy person dreams they might do in their life, which is go viral. Although nobody, it's sort of like when you see somebody at a funeral who you haven't seen in a long time and you're like happy to see them, but you're also sad it's under these circumstances, And so this week, if I'm pronouncing her name right, Marianne Buddy, Reverend, the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, went viral among all of my clergy friends and maybe on your feed as well. And so you guys are cheering. Do you know that her son Patrick actually is our head sound engineer? Do you just want to wave for a second? That's not why Patrick is so fabulous. Well, it's probably part of the reason why Patrick is fabulous. But if you didn't see her prayer, the reason why she went viral was not because she has a fabulous son, although maybe one day for that reason too. But rather because she gave a very important prayer at the inauguration, at the prayer gathering on the day of the inauguration. And so as we go into Hashkivenu, this prayer that asks that God hold everyone under the shelter of God's wings of peace, I want to begin, I actually just want to repeat her prayer. We just came off of singing Micha Mocha, which, we do in the morning and in the evening every single day in every part of the prayer, in every prayer service, to remind ourselves that crossing the Red Sea against all odds is possible. That's why the tradition puts it there. And so sometimes, you heard a good thing once, but you need to hear it again and again and again and again so that the words ring in your ears so that you remember. So she said this to the president and the vice president and all of their families and the incoming administration. She said, "In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. They are gay, lesbian, transgender, children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash our dishes and crops and clean the office buildings, who wash our dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, gurdwaras, and temples. I ask you to have mercy on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people, for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen. Pretty good prayer. I also want to create the space here tonight to pray for anyone in your life who needs healing, who is lonely or scared or heartbroken or suffering with illness or any number of challenges. So if there's somebody you're thinking of tonight, as we begin to sing Hashkivenu, let them lie down in peace and be raised up again to life renewed. As we sing, just say their name. I keep playing things in keys that are way too low for everybody except me. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'ha'amideinu shomrei Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haborei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel ve'al Yerushalayim. We stand and turn the page.
Amidah, standing prayer. It's done quietly in the evening, just to yourself. The custom is to take 3 steps backwards and 3 steps forwards. It begins on 21 and it ends on 27. You can take this time to use the pages in the book or to just share your own prayer, to write your own prayer and send it out. Sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there. I am but a voice, just a cry in the air. But I sing nonetheless this pain we share. Oh, sweet friends, come and dry your eyes and hold each other by this tree of life. Angry and tired of this great divide, but I sing nonetheless with love on our side. Oh, sweet souls who feel broken now, we'll heal together somewhere, somehow. Time and again we have been let down, but we sing nonetheless, still whole and still proud. Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there. So I think folks came tonight ready to hear about a little deeper, maybe, than what we've just seen on our feeds and screens. And unfortunately, the situation in our country as a Jewish community right now, I think holistically, in a lot of areas, feels like many things that we took for granted once are now on really shaky ground. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about reproductive rights. And it just so happens that Sarah Garza Resnick, who spoke, happens to be Kalman's daughter. So it's like all in the family. All the Resnick family is somehow pulling us through emotionally, intellectually, legally. And so just to say a word about Kalman, he is an immigration lawyer, among many other things, and is a shareholder at Hughes, Sokol, Piers, Resnick, and Dim. He's been doing it for like 50 years. 51 years. He has extensive experience in virtually every area of immigration practice, including business, immigration, family unification, asylum, refugee matters, nationality and citizenship issues, employer sanctions, and other employment-related immigration matters, defense of foreign nationals under removal proceedings. He has worked with multinational corporations and medium and small little businesses, universities, medical centers, unions, nonprofits, and foreign nationals and their families on immigration policy and practices. But probably most importantly, Kalman and Bonetta are part of this community. Their child, Sarah, and their grandchildren, Zeke and Abe, are all part of this community, and I think probably relevant to at least a few of you here. He graduated from Oberlin College. So we feel very grateful to you. I know it's been a very busy week for you. Do you want to sit while speaking, or would you prefer? All right, great.
Hello, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos.
Can you hear me?
Speak
Okay.
into the microphone, though. So
Hello.
everybody at home
Okay.
can hear you, too.
Shabbat shalom. For reasons that shortly will be obvious, I want to dedicate my Devar Torah to my mother's first cousin, Fanny, her husband, Albert, and their son. They were French Jews born in France after the Nazis and their French collaborators occupied Paris. They complied with an edict to register as Jews at the local police department. In October 1942, they were detained, sent to the Drancy camp. They were there to the first week of February, when they were put on a French train to Auschwitz. And on February 13th, 1943, were gassed at the concentration camp. So I dedicate tonight to them. Fanny lives in me every day when I go to work. Every time I meet a client, every time I go to immigration court, she is alive in me, and she's alive in me tonight. The book of Exodus, which we continue reading this Shabbat, instructs us regarding our obligations to the strangers among us. Chapter 22, verse 20 of Exodus commands, "You shall not oppress the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." Indeed, no less than 36 times, our Torah mandates that we protect the strangers in our midst. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 34 gets right to the point. "The strangers who reside with you shall be to you as your citizens, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." The story of our Exodus has resonated through my life. As a young child, I saw the parallels between our exodus from Egypt and the mass departure of Jews from Eastern Europe between the 1880s and World War I. During this period, millions of Jews emigrated from Eastern Europe to the United States, Canada, and Latin America, seeking safety from the perils of anti-Semitism. The difficulties my own family faced in this journey highlight the opposition to the immigration of Jews to the United States. In 1911, my maternal grandmother, Malcha, a 17-year-old orphan, and her 12-year-old sister, Rose, were denied entry to the United States at Ellis Island because their brother-in-laws was a leader in the garment workers' strike of 1910 in Chicago, which led to the formation of the Amalgamated Clothing Workers Union. In 1927, my 8-year-old mother and her parents and her siblings, including my Aunt Eileen, who was a U.S. citizen because of her birth in Chicago, were deported back to Canada for having entered the United States illegally. Restrictive immigration quotas enacted after World War I barred them from immigrating lawfully to the United States. These same restrictive quotas prevented millions of Jews in Europe from finding safety in the United States before or during the Holocaust, condemning members of my family and many of yours to death in the ghettos and concentration camps of Europe. As a student at Evanston Township High School in the mid-1960s, I saw the parallels between our exodus from Egyptian slavery and the migration to Evanston of the families of my African-American classmates fleeing Jim Crow segregation in the South. The stories which my classmates' parents shared with me of lynchings and brutal segregation in South Carolina motivated me to join the NAACP Youth Council in high school and fight for racial justice in Evanston, Chicago, and the South. In the 1970s, as a young legal services lawyer in Chicago's Pilsen neighborhood, I saw the parallels between our history and the mass exodus of Mexicans and Central Americans fleeing poverty, political oppression, and violence in the hope of finding safety and prosperity in the United States. For the past 51 years, I've used my skills as a lawyer to defend the rights of immigrants and their communities. There have been significant victories, including the enactment in 1986 of a legalization program that put almost 3 million immigrants on a pathway to lawful permanent residence and U.S. citizenship, and the creation of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, better known by the acronym DACA. There have been also many defeats. However, in all the years I have practiced immigration law, there has been no time as frightening as this week for immigrants and as challenging for those of us committed to defending immigrants. I am here tonight to sound the alarm about what is contained in the 11, and here they are, executive orders. I got all 11 here if anyone wants copies of them. Okay. Trump signed on Tuesday pertaining to actually, I think he signed them on Monday, pertaining to immigrants and other actions taken by his administration this week to advance his agenda of mass deportations and strict limits on legal immigration. In view of the large number of executive orders and other actions taken by Trump and his team in his first week back in office, I only have time to reference the most distressing. Number one, to accomplish mass deportations, the Protecting the American People from Invasion executive order requires undocumented people to register and be fingerprinted so that removal action can be initiated against them. 2, issuance of a U.S. Department of Justice memorandum threatening to prosecute the elected leaders of sanctuary cities and states, including our governor and our mayor, if they fail to cooperate with Trump's plans for mass deportations. 3, subjecting immigrants who cannot prove to an arresting ICE officer that they have been in the United States for at least 2 years to immediate deportation through a process known as expedited removal, with no right to be released on bond or defend themselves before an immigration judge. This makes the arresting ICE officers the policemen, the prosecutors, and the judge. 4, under the Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship executive order, ending birthright citizenship for children who do not have at least one parent who is a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. This despite the guarantees of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that everyone born here is a citizen. Yesterday, a Reagan-appointed U.S. District Court judge in Seattle, in a lawsuit brought by the state of Illinois and several other states, issued a temporary restraining order barring implementation of the order, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. With a 6-3 right-wing majority on the U.S. Supreme Court, there is no guarantee this ruling will survive. 5, denying migrants at our southern border the right to apply for asylum based on their fear of persecution. 6, suspending the admission of refugees to the United States while the Trump administration determines how refugee admissions can be limited to just refugees who they believe are able to assimilate well into the United States. Okay. First of all, the people who were approved to come as refugees were not allowed to board flights. They were already vetted and they had permits to come to the U.S. stamped in their passports. They were denied the right to come here, and all refugees are barred right now under this suspension. And they will only start accepting refugees once they determine who will be able to assimilate into the United States. I think we all know what that means. Okay. 7, denying employment authorization to immigrants while they have pending applications for asylum, lawful permanent residence, or other immigration benefits. 8, removing the bar to immigration and customs enforcement officers conducting enforcement operations in schools, churches, mosques, synagogues, healthcare institutions, and the courts. 9, conducting an evaluation of the temporary protected status designation of 21 countries that have been granted this designation by the Biden administration and prior administrations due to the violent conflict or climate-related or other catastrophes in their countries. The intention is to take away the protection of temporary protected status and deport hundreds of thousands of people who have this designation, including people from El Salvador, Ukraine, Venezuela, and many other countries. Ending the humanitarian parole status of hundreds of thousands of citizens of Venezuela, Ukraine, Haiti, and Nicaragua who were in the United States with humanitarian parole status. If all of these and other anti-immigration measures Trump's administration announced this week were not enough, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals this month ruled that the DACA program, initially created by President Obama, was illegal, setting the stage for a showdown at the U.S. Supreme Court on the right of over 500,000 DACA recipients to remain in the United States. Carlos, you met? Stand up for a minute. Carlos came to the United States in 5th grade, right? Okay, from Peru. I knew his family in Peru many years ago. He went to Evanston High School, the University of Illinois at Chicago, UIC. He got a master's degree from Arizona State University in special education with an emphasis on autism. He is a board-certified behavioral analyst who works with autistic children. He is one of the DACAs who have no way to remain in our country if DACA is ended. Thanks. How has Trump and his xenophobic team of immigrant haters been able to create such an agenda for mass deportation? The answer lies in their success in villainizing immigrants through lies and falsehoods. First, they have tried to convince us that the undocumented are here because they simply refuse to follow legal pathways to immigration. The reality is that over the last 57 years, Congress has changed our immigration laws to make it virtually impossible for undocumented people to legally immigrate. This was done through the enactment of restrictive numerical limitations and punitive statutory bars that prevent the undocumented from becoming lawful permanent residents even when they are married to U.S. citizens or have U.S. citizen children, parents, or siblings. As a practical matter, you can say Congress created our undocumented population. To give you a sense of how challenging legal immigration is, preference immigrants from Mexico are subject to an annual limitation of 25,620, which makes the wait to immigrate for family-based immigrants one of up to 25 years. These bars to legal immigration are the reasons why most undocumented people cannot immigrate lawfully even though they live in mixed status families with U.S. citizen spouses, children, parents, grandparents, and siblings. Second, they try to convince us that immigrants are criminals. However, crime statistics demonstrate that immigrants commit far fewer crimes than U.S. citizens. Moreover, our immigration laws already bar immigrants with significant criminal convictions from legalizing their status. The only crime most immigrants do is their existence in our country as being undocumented. Third, they try to convince that immigrants are taking the jobs of U.S. citizens. However, most states have a significant shortage of workers, and most U.S. citizens do not want the jobs performed by immigrants. How many of us employ or have employed undocumented people to care for our children, our parents, or our homes, or to work in our places of business? Fourth, they try to convince us that immigrants are a burden on our social welfare system. That is false. Undocumented immigrants are barred from almost all government benefits. In conclusion, I want to urge the Mishkan community to join the resistance to mass deportation. I offer my expertise to help Mishkan figure out how best it can participate in the defense of our immigrant neighbors. Through mass protests, we can stop Trump from fully implementing his agenda for mass deportation. In 2018, the American people stopped through mass protests Trump's child separation policy, which was separating thousands of children from their parents and putting them in cages along the border. We need to convince our fellow Americans that mass deportations will destroy mixed status families in which millions of U.S. citizens and legal immigrants live, and be disastrous for our economy, which depends on immigrant workers to plant and pick our crops, to prepare our food, to manufacture our products, to care for our homes, our children, our elderly, and our disabled. Our religious foreparents who wrote the Torah wisely instructed us no less than 36 times to defend the strangers in our midst, because they understood that one of the most important measures of justice in a society is how its immigrants are treated, and that a society which mistreats its immigrant is ultimately a society in which the well-being of all, and especially that of Jews, is in danger. Thank you.
Kalman, if folks have questions or want to talk to you afterwards, would you be willing to hang out here in this room after? It can get loud by the food after the service. So you, and thank you. It's hard, you know, at the end of a sermon, they train you in your homiletics class, you're supposed to give what's called a nechemta, which means make people feel better. You know, at the end, you like take them down some long, painful road, but then give them hope. And thank you for holding out at least a thing that we can imagine doing when the time is right, when the opportunity presents itself. Let's all stand. I have to be honest. In terms of planning services and thinking about music, you know, it's like, what do we want to listen to right now? Stuff that is super like energizing and upbeat, or stuff that makes you want to cry. And I don't know that there's a right answer to that, but this tune Batya Levine wrote, she wrote kind of in a moment like this in 2016. So it's on our little sheet here. Let's see. We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, all of the children rise, elders with wisdom rise,
And sisters surround us.
rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise up from the wreckage with tears and with courage, fighting for life we rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here, in hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise, humbly hearted, won't be divided, with spirit to guide us, rise. We turn to 32. Aleinu Shabbat Ladon Hakol Latet Gedula Yotzer Breshit Shelo Asanu Kikoye Haratzot Velo Samanu Kishpachot Adama Shelo Samchakenu Kahem Vego Aleinu Kechol Hamonam Ve'anachnu Korim
invite you to remain standing if you're remembering something tonight, whether you're in a period of mourning, remembering somebody on their yard site, anniversary of their passing. Let's take a moment. We'll go around the room and share their name, bring their presence into this space. Any other names? Turn to page 34 for Kadisha Tom. Yitkadal Vitkadash Shemei Rabba Be'alma Divra Chirute V'amlich Malchute B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uvchaye Zechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Vimru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Omei Almaya Yitbarach Vishtabach Vipa'ar Vitroman Vitnase Vithadar Vitale Vithalal Shemei Tikudisha Brichu La'ela Min Kol Birchata Veshirata Tushbechata Venechamata Da'amiran Be'alma Vimru Amen Yehei Shlam Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Vimru Amen Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Vimru Amen Yehi Zichronam Livracha. May their memories all be for a blessing.
Blessings. Friends. Well, I said the whole thing at the beginning about prayer and community being nourishment, but then at a certain point, after you've been davening for 2 hours, you need actual nourishment. So we're going to bless wine and bless bread, and we have 2 of these challah boards. This is our great innovation of this Friday night so that we can pass them in different directions, and people on both sides of the circle can get challah. So we're going to let's stand. We're going to raise a glass and bless Kiddush. For those who want to read along with us, we're on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinten lanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah v'nikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki banu b'chata ve'otanu kiddasha mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon
Look at that. Challah, reach towards somebody who's reaching towards somebody who's reaching towards the challah. If you don't know them, maybe ask them first. We'll bless this challah together, and especially the hands that made it and brought it to us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min ha'aretz.